Mom, are you ready? Ryan asked, peeking into the dressing room. His black suit fit him perfectly, his tie slightly crooked the way it always was when I wasn't there to fix it. I smiled, brushing my hands over my simple blue dress. I've been waiting for this day my whole life. He chuckled. Don't cry yet, okay? We still have to get through the ceremony. I touched his cheek. Ryan, you look just like your father did the day he walked out. But you're better. You stayed with me. He shifted uncomfortably. Mom, don't bring him up today. You're right, I whispered. Today is about you. The music began to swell from the hall. People laughed, glasses clinked, heels tapped against the marble. I walked out with Ryan by my side, my chest swelling with pride. For once I thought the years of working late nights, patching his shoes and eating less so he could eat more were worth it. Sophie, his bride, glided across the floor in her white gown, her blonde hair shining under the chandeliers. She greeted me with a dazzling smile. Mrs. Walker, you look lovely. I nodded politely. Thank you, Sophie. You look radiant. Of course I do, she said softly, almost too soft to catch, but the smugness curled around her words. I ignored it. Let's sit. The program is about to start. She led me toward the family table. I reached for the chair, feeling the weight of eyes on me. Relatives whispered, strangers giggled, and I tried to pretend it was admiration. Sophie's voice chimed behind me. Here, let me help you with the chair. Thank you, dear, I said, lowering myself carefully. But the chair wasn't there. My body collapsed hard onto the marble floor, pain shooting through my hip. Gasps filled the hall, followed by a ripple of laughter. Oh my God, did you see that? A woman snickered. She fell like a sack of potatoes, another man whispered. Some mother of the groom, someone muttered. Heat flooded my face. I clutched the table, trying to rise, my dress catching beneath me. My hands trembled as I forced myself upright. Mom. Ryan rushed over, grabbing my arm. His eyes darted nervously at Sophie, who stood behind him with wide, fake innocent eyes. Ryan, my throat burned. Sophie gasped dramatically. Oh no. I was just pulling the chair for her. She must have sat too quickly. Laughter still bubbled in the background. I heard someone say, that wasn't an accident. Another voice hushed them quickly. I turned to Ryan. Do you believe her? He swallowed hard. Mom, please, let's not make a scene. Everyone's watching. A scene. My voice cracked. I just fell on the floor in front of the whole family, Ryan. Sophie's hand slid into his. She's fine, right? No harm done. No harm. My voice rose before I could stop it. My dignity is lying broken on that floor. Ryan whispered urgently, Mom, please sit down. People are staring. I stared at him, my son, the boy who once cried when I scraped my knee, the boy who swore he'd protect me forever. Now he looked away, ashamed, choosing silence over me. A man at the next table chuckled. Guess she's not the favorite anymore. The laughter stabbed deeper than the fall. I straightened, my back aching but my pride forcing me upright. I'll sit, Ryan. But not because you tell me to. Sophie offered the chair again, smiling sweetly. Here, Mrs. Walker. Please. I lowered myself slowly this time, gripping the table until my knuckles whitened. My heart pounded in my ears, every whisper echoing like a slap. Ryan muttered, let's just move on, okay? Move on, I repeated quietly. Yes. That's all I've ever done. Sophie leaned closer, her perfume sharp. Don't worry, Mrs. Walker. Everyone will forget about this in no time. I met her eyes. Behind the sweetness I saw the cruelty. She wanted me humiliated. She wanted me small. I forced a smile. Oh, I won't forget, Sophie. Not ever. Her smile faltered for the briefest moment before she turned back to Ryan, tugging him toward the center of the hall. As the guests clapped for the next toast, I sat frozen, my hands trembling in my lap. Laughter still buzzed faintly in my ears. My son avoided my gaze, his fiancée wore victory like a crown, and I, broken, humiliated, swallowed the bitter truth. This was supposed to be my proudest day. Instead, it became the day I learned what betrayal feels like when it comes not from strangers, but from your own blood. And as the music played and the glasses clinked again, I made a silent vow. This will not be the end of me. The hall was still buzzing when I forced myself to sit upright. My hip throbbed, but the sting in my chest was worse. Whispers floated around me like knives. She really fell, a woman at the next table laughed softly. Serves her right for acting so proud, another voice replied. I swear Sophie pulled the chair on purpose. Shh. Don't say that too loud. I kept my eyes on my hands folded tightly in my lap. Ryan leaned close. Mom, please just let it go. Everyone's already moving on. Moving on? I whispered. Did you hear them laughing? Did you see their faces? He pressed his lips together. Sophie said it was an accident. She wouldn't. I cut him off. Ryan, look at me. Do you believe that? He hesitated, glancing across the hall where Sophie was chatting with her bridesmaids. She didn't mean to hurt you. I swallowed the rising ache in my throat. Your silence hurt more than the fall. Ryan's jaw tightened. Mom, please. Don't ruin this day for me. I already did, didn't I? My voice trembled though I tried to keep it steady. By being here. Sophie appeared suddenly, sliding her hand onto Ryan's arm. Darling, the photographer wants us near the stage. Ryan nodded quickly. We'll be right there. She looked at me with wide, innocent eyes. Mrs. Walker, are you sure you're all right? You must have sat down too quickly. I met her gaze. Funny, Sophie. My body fell but your smile landed first. Her lips twitched but she kept the sweetness plastered on. I'll send someone with ice. Don't bother, I said flatly. Ryan frowned. Mom, please. Sophie tugged his arm and he went with her without another word. I sat alone listening to the chatter around me. She embarrassed herself. Poor Ryan having such a difficult mother. No wonder his father left. The last words burned hotter than fire. I rose and made my way to the restroom, my steps shaky but determined. Inside I locked the door and leaned against the sink. My reflection stared back at me. Gray hair pinned neatly, eyes red from holding back tears, lipstick slightly smudged. I whispered to myself, why does it always have to be me? A knock rattled the door. Mrs. Walker? It's Clara. Sophie's friend. I opened the door slowly. Clara's smirk greeted me. You gave us all a show out there. Quite the entrance. I clenched my jaw. Did Sophie send you? She didn't have to. Everyone's talking already. Clara tilted her head. You should learn to laugh at yourself. Otherwise, people will laugh harder. I stepped closer. Tell Sophie she doesn't need to teach me my place. I already know where I stand. Clara chuckled. Good. Then stay there. She turned and walked away, heels clicking like hammers against marble. I sank onto the bench inside the restroom, fighting the tears threatening to spill. Why am I the one hiding? I thought. Why am I letting a girl half my age strip me of my pride? Another knock came, softer this time. Mrs. Walker? It's Adam. Ryan's best man. His voice was calm, steady. I cracked the door. He stood there, tall, suit crisp, eyes filled not with mockery but with pity. Are you hurt? He asked. Only everywhere that matters, I murmured. He hesitated. I saw what happened. Don't let it crush you. Sophie, she has a cruel streak. I studied him. Then why don't you say something? He lowered his gaze. It's not my place. Neither is it mine, apparently, I muttered. Ryan cares for you, Adam said gently. But Sophie, she knows how to control him. My heart twisted. I raised him better than this. Sometimes love blinds us, Adam said. Don't think it means your sacrifices were wasted. I straightened. Easy for you to say. You're not the one laughed at. He gave a small nod. You're right. I just wanted you to know not everyone believes her act. I held his gaze a moment longer, then stepped back. Thank you, Adam. But I don't need pity. I need strength. He bowed his head slightly. Then you already have it. With that he walked away. Alone again, I whispered to the mirror. Strength? If I had any, I wouldn't be standing here hiding. I wiped my eyes, reapplied my lipstick and forced a smile. When I stepped back into the hall, Sophie was laughing, clinging to Ryan's arm as if nothing had happened. Guests toasted, music played, life went on. But inside me something had shifted. The humiliation was no longer just pain. It was a spark. Ryan hurried over when he saw me. Mom, please don't be upset anymore. Let's just enjoy the evening. Enjoyment, I said quietly, is for people who forget. I never forget, Ryan. Sophie leaned her head against his shoulder, eyes glinting as she smiled at me across the room. She thought she had won. But in that moment I knew, the game had only begun. I locked myself in the restroom again, gripping the edge of the sink. The mirror glared back at me. My face looked tired, older than I remembered. Is this really me? I whispered. The silence answered. The door rattled suddenly. Sophie's voice floated in, dripping with sugar. Mrs. Walker, are you all right? Everyone's asking about you. I clenched my jaw. Tell them I'm fine. You sure? She asked sweetly. I wouldn't want people to think I upset you. You upset me the moment you met my son, I said through the door. There was a pause, then a laugh. Oh, come now. Don't be dramatic. I yanked the door open. You humiliated me in front of everyone. She leaned against the frame, smirking. You humiliated yourself. All I did was move a chair. On purpose. Her eyes sparkled. Prove it. I stared at her, rage bubbling in my chest. One day Ryan will see what you really are. She tilted her head. By then I'll already have what I want. My stomach turned. What do you want, Sophie? Security. Status. A husband who does what I say. Simple enough. And you think Ryan will give you that? He already has. He grinned. Look at tonight. He fell, people laughed, and Ryan defended me, not you. That's power. My nails dug into my palm. You're playing a dangerous game. She leaned closer, whispering, not dangerous for me. For you. I shut the door in her face, my chest heaving. Her laughter echoed as she walked away. I turned back to the mirror. My eyes filled with tears. How did I become this woman? I asked my reflection. The reflection offered no answer. Do you remember, Ryan? I whispered as if he could hear. When you were 6 and drew that picture of us holding hands. You said it was us against the world. What happened to that promise? The memory stung. I reached into my purse, pulling out the old folded paper I always carried. The drawing was faded, but the crayon lines still showed a boy holding his mother's hand. My throat tightened. Another knock broke the silence. Adam's voice came gently. Mrs. Walker? I opened the door a crack. What now? He hesitated. I saw Sophie come this way. Did she say something? I sighed. She doesn't need to say anything. Her actions speak louder. I believe you, he said firmly. I studied him. Why? Everyone else seems to believe her. Because I've seen her mask slip before, he replied. Ryan's blind to it. But I'm not. My lips trembled. What am I supposed to do? He's my son. I can't lose him. Adam's eyes softened. Then don't lose yourself trying to keep him. I laughed bitterly. That's easy advice when it's not your child. True, he admitted. But I can see your strength. Don't let her take it from you. I looked back at the mirror. Strength? All I see is a weak old woman who sacrificed everything, and for what? To be laughed at. You see weakness, Adam said. I see someone still standing after life tried to break her. I closed my eyes. His words sank deep, though I wasn't ready to believe them. Go back, Adam. People will talk if you're seen here. He gave a small nod. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'll listen. Then he left. Silence filled the room again. I whispered to my reflection, no more tears. Not for Sophie. Not for Ryan. From this moment I change. The reflection stared back, not kind, not forgiving, just determined. I pressed the drawing to my chest one last time before folding it away. You promised me the world, Ryan. If I can't have your promise, then I'll make my own. When I stepped out of the restroom, my face was calm, my steps steady. Sophie laughed across the hall, basking in her false glory. But inside me something new was born. The humiliation wasn't just pain anymore. It was fuel. And I swore silently, this will not break me. It will remake me. The next morning, the echoes of laughter from the wedding still rang in my ears. I stood in the kitchen pouring myself coffee when Ryan called. Mom, about last night. His voice was hesitant. I tightened my grip on the cup. Yes, Ryan. About last night. Sophie feels terrible. She said she tried to help you, but... Stop. My tone was sharper than I intended. Don't repeat her lies to me. He sighed. Mom, please. She didn't mean it. She meant every second of it. And you know it. Silence. Then softly, I don't want to start my marriage with fighting. I swallowed hard. Then you've already started it with betrayal. He didn't answer. The line went dead. Later that week I attended a family brunch Sophie insisted on hosting. She greeted me at the door, her smile polished, her eyes cold. "Mrs. Walker, so glad you could come," she said. "I almost didn't," I replied. "Oh, don't be silly." Her voice dropped as she leaned close. "You wouldn't want people thinking you're holding grudges." I forced a smile. "People already think plenty." Her laugh was light, practiced. "Yes, they do." Inside, I sat quietly as Sophie entertained, fluttering around the table with effortless charm. But when she thought no one was watching, I caught her rolling her eyes at Ryan, whispering sharp orders under her breath. At one point, Clara, her ever-loyal friend, leaned across the table. "Sophie told me she's already planning your retirement, Mrs. Walker. Isn't that sweet?" My fork froze midair. "Pie retirement?" Sophie laughed. "Clara exaggerates. I only meant that you've worked hard all your life. You deserve to step aside and rest." "Step aside," I echoed. She smiled, tilting her head. "Ryan and I will handle things from now on." I locked eyes with her. "Don't mistake my silence for surrender." Clara smirked. "Careful, Mrs. Walker. People might think you're jealous." I ignored her, turning to Ryan. "Do you agree with this?" Ryan shifted uncomfortably. "Mom, Sophie just wants to help." "Help," I repeated softly. Sophie raised her glass. "To new beginnings." I clinked my glass against hers, forcing a smile. But inside, anger boiled. After brunch, I stepped onto the balcony for air. Adam appeared beside me, hands in his pockets. "Not enjoying yourself?" he asked quietly. "Do I look like I'm enjoying myself?" He glanced back at Sophie laughing with her friends. "She's good at playing a part." "She's good at manipulation," I corrected. He nodded. "Ryan doesn't see it." "Not yet." "He sees it," I said bitterly. "He just chooses blindness." Adam studied me. "So what will you do?" I stared out at the horizon. "Nothing. For now." "Nothing?" "Yes. Let her think she's won. Let her dig her own grave." His brow furrowed. "You're planning something." "I'm planning survival," I whispered. Later that evening, as guests left, I overheard Sophie in the kitchen with Clara. "She's pathetic," Sophie sneered. "Clinging to Ryan like he owes her. I'll make sure she learns her place." Clara giggled. "You already did at the wedding." "That was just the start," Sophie said. "Wait until I control everything, Ryan, his money, his choices. She won't matter." My breath caught. I stepped back before they noticed me. When I returned to the living room, Sophie approached, her smile perfectly intact. "Did you enjoy yourself, Mrs. Walker?" "Immensely," I replied, hiding the fury in my chest. "Good. Because I want us to be a family." I leaned close, my voice low. "Families don't pull chairs." Her smile faltered just for an instant. Then she straightened. "Be careful, Mrs. Walker. You don't want to end up alone." I met her gaze. "Alone is better than chained." Her jaw tightened, but she quickly covered it with another dazzling smile. That night, Ryan called again. "Mom, Sophie told me you seemed upset at brunch." "Upset?" I laughed bitterly. "That's one word for it. She's trying, Mom. Can't you see that?" "No, Ryan. I see her clearer than you ever will." "Why can't you just give her a chance?" "Because she already showed me who she is. And you let her." He groaned. "Mom, please. I need you to accept her. You need me to accept betrayal." The silence on the line was heavy, filled with things neither of us dared to say. Finally, I whispered, "I'll never stand in your way, Ryan. But I won't stand in hers either." He exhaled shakily. "I don't know what you want from me. I want you to open your eyes." The call ended. Alone in my room, I replayed Sophie's laughter, her whispers, her smug words in the kitchen. She thought she'd broken me. But as I looked at Ryan's old drawing again, folded in my hands, I made another silent vow. "I'll wait, Sophie. I'll wait and watch. One day your mask will slip. And when it does, I'll be ready." The following weeks passed in silence between Ryan and me. I stayed away, though I heard enough through whispers and visits to know Sophie's smile was already fading. One evening, Ryan called unexpectedly. "Mom, can you come by for dinner?" Sophie insisted. I hesitated. "Why now?" Please, he said quickly. I want us all to get along. Against my better judgment I went. The house smelled of expensive candles and overcooked pasta. Sophie greeted me with her usual sugary smile. Mrs. Walker, welcome. Thank you, I said simply. Ryan appeared looking tired. His shirt was wrinkled, his eyes weary. Rough day? I asked him quietly. Before he could answer, Sophie jumped in. He's fine. He just complains too much. Doesn't he, darling? Ryan forced a weak laugh. Yeah, maybe. I frowned. Since when do you complain, Ryan? You've never been that type. He shifted uncomfortably. Work's been stressful. Stressful? Sophie rolled her eyes. Please. He just needs to toughen up. Ryan works hard, I said firmly. Sophie's smile tightened. Of course. But everyone works hard. He's not special. Ryan glanced at me quickly, then looked away. At dinner, Sophie kept correcting Ryan. Not that fork, dear. You're chewing too fast. Speak up when Mom asks you a question. Finally, I said, Sophie, let him breathe. Her eyes flashed before she smoothed her expression. I'm only helping him be better. Ryan muttered, It's fine, Mom. No, it's not fine, I replied. She talks to you like you're a child. Mrs. Walker, Sophie interrupted sweetly, Ryan needs guidance. And I'm his wife now. I set my fork down. Guidance is one thing. Control is another. Her jaw tightened. I think you're misinterpreting. Ryan sighed, rubbing his temples. Can we not do this tonight? After dinner, I found Ryan alone on the balcony, staring into the dark. Ryan, I said softly. He didn't turn. Mom, I don't know what to do. She loves me, but she makes me feel small sometimes. His voice cracked. I placed a hand on his shoulder. That's not love, Ryan. He turned to me, eyes desperate. Then what do I do? I chose her. I married her. Marriage doesn't mean surrender, I whispered. Before he could reply, Sophie appeared, her smile sharp. There you are. I was wondering where you'd run off to. Ryan straightened instantly. I was just talking to Mom. About what? She asked, eyes narrowing. Nothing important, he said quickly. She looked at me, suspicion flickering. I hope you're not filling his head with doubts. I met her gaze. I don't have to. He already has them. Her smile faltered, but she recovered. Good night, Mrs. Walker. Thank you for coming. As I left, Adam was arriving carrying a folder. Mrs. Walker, he greeted softly. Adam, I said. Working late. Ryan asked me to drop these off. His eyes lingered on me. Are you all right? I should be asking Ryan that, I replied. Adam nodded knowingly. He's changing. Fully. But he'll need you when the cracks widen. I studied him. And you? Why are you always here? He shrugged lightly. Because someone has to see the truth. That night Ryan called again. Mom, I'm sorry about Sophie. She gets intense. She belittles you, Ryan. I know, he whispered. But if I admit it, then I admit I made a mistake marrying her. My chest ached. Sometimes the bravest thing is admitting the mistake. He was silent. Then almost brokenly he said, I miss when it was just us. Tears burned my eyes. So do I, Ryan. So do I. Sophie's voice rang faintly in the background. Who are you talking to? Ryan whispered quickly, I'll call you later. Then the line went dead. Alone in my room, I stared at his old drawing again, the boy holding my hand. The cracks are showing, Ryan, I whispered. I just pray you see them before it's too late. Ryan insisted on hosting a family dinner. He called it a chance to start fresh. I knew better. Fresh starts don't happen at tables already cracked down the middle. So I came. Adam was there too, seated awkwardly at the end, invited by Ryan for reasons Sophie barely tolerated. The table was full of food, roast chicken, mashed potatoes, vegetables. But the tension was thicker than the steam rising from the dishes. Sophie raised her glass. To family. May we always be united. Her smile was perfect, her eyes sharp. To family, Ryan echoed weakly. I lifted my glass slowly. To truth. Her eyes flicked to me and the first crack appeared. Dinner began with small talk. Sophie praised herself for decorating the house, arranging flowers, planning Ryan's schedule. Ryan smiled faintly but said little. Finally I asked, Ryan, how's work? He cleared his throat. Busy. We've had some long days. He exaggerates, Sophie cut in. Adam can confirm, can't you? Adam shifted. Actually, Ryan's been carrying more than his share. Some projects would have collapsed without him. Ryan's eyes lit with surprise. Thanks, Adam. Sophie's fork clinked against her plate. Well, maybe if he didn't stay up playing games, he'd handle stress better. That's not true, Ryan protested. I leaned forward. Why do you always dismiss him? Sophie's smile thinned. Because someone has to keep him grounded. He's my husband. My responsibility. He's a man, I snapped. Not a project for you to manage. Ryan looked between us, caught shrinking. Adam spoke gently. Sophie, sometimes encouragement works better than correction. She turned on him sharply. And what do you know about marriage, Adam? You're just a coworker. Or, perhaps more. The words hung heavy. Ryan blinked. What are you implying? He shrugged. Nothing. Just that Adam seems awfully invested in your family affairs. Adam's voice was calm but edged. I care about Ryan as a friend. And I respect his mother. Her smile was venomous. Respect? Or something else? Enough, Ryan said sharply. Stop twisting things. Sophie's eyes glistened. So you defend them over me now? Ryan's hands clenched. Because you keep insulting them. The air was heavy. My heart pounded. I spoke softly but each word cut. Ryan, love doesn't humiliate. It doesn't shrink you down to nothing. What has she done to your spark? Sophie slammed her hand on the table. Don't you dare blame me for his weakness. Adam rose slightly, voice firm. He's not weak. He's exhausted from being controlled. Her face reddened. You shut your mouth. Ryan pushed his chair back, his voice shaking. Stop. Both of you. I can't. I turned to him. Then speak, Ryan. For once, tell us what you feel. He froze, trembling. Sophie leaned in. Careful what you say, darling. Words can't be taken back. Ryan's chest rose and fell rapidly. Then, like glass shattering, his voice broke. I'm suffocating, Sophie. Every day I feel smaller. You belittle me, mock me, decide for me. I'm not living, I'm surviving. The room went silent. Tears slipped from his eyes. I married you thinking love meant sacrifice. But all I've done is sacrifice myself. Sophie's lip quivered. Ryan, no. He shook his head. Don't. You've turned me into a shadow. And I let you. I whispered, Ryan. He looked at me, broken yet free. Mom, I miss who I was. Before all this. Adam placed a hand on his shoulder. You can still be him. Sophie's voice cracked, desperate now. Ryan, I only wanted to make you better. To push you. His reply was quiet but final. I never asked you to fix me. Her face twisted. So what now? You throw away everything? Our vows. He stood slowly. I don't know what happens next. But I can't keep drowning. The silence that followed was unbearable. Sophie's fork slipped from her hand, clattering loudly. She stared at Ryan as though he'd betrayed her beyond repair. You'll regret this, she whispered, her voice trembling with rage. Both of you will. Her eyes flicked to me, then to Adam, before she rose abruptly and stormed out of the dining room. The slam of the bedroom door echoed like a gunshot. Ryan sank back into his chair, burying his face in his hands. What have I done? I reached across the table, grasping his hand. You finally told the truth. Adam added gently, and truth is the first step to freedom. Ryan's shoulders shook with quiet sobs. I don't feel free. I feel broken. I squeezed his hand tighter. Sometimes breaking is the only way light gets in. Adam nodded. You're not alone in this, Ryan. Not anymore. We sat in the heavy quiet of the wrecked dinner, food untouched, plates cold. Inside, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. But for the first time I saw a spark in my son's eyes. Weak, trembling, but alive. The next morning I woke with the echo of Sophie's threats still ringing in my ears. You'll regret this. Both of you will. Her words weren't empty. I knew Sophie. Her cruelty wasn't careless. It was deliberate, sharpened, precise. I found Ryan in the kitchen, staring into his untouched coffee. You didn't sleep, I said softly. He shook his head. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. That look, she's planning something. I sat across from him. She won't give up control quietly. He clenched his fists. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe speaking up just made everything worse. I reached for his hand. No, Ryan. Made you real again. Don't let fear erase that. The front door opened. Sophie walked in dressed perfectly as always, her smile thin and polished. Good morning, she sang, though her eyes were cold. I hope you both slept well. Ryan's jaw tightened. What are you doing here? I thought you stayed with your friend. She set her purse down. Why would I abandon my own home? This is mine too. Her gaze slid to me. And don't look so disappointed, mother. You'll see soon enough, Ryan belongs with me, not clinging to outsiders. Ryan rose. Stop talking like that. She ignored him. I realized something last night. I've been too soft. I let you embarrass me in front of your mother and that. Adam. I stiffened. Leave Adam out of this. She smirked. Why should I? He's clearly obsessed. Always hanging around. Always defending you. Ryan's voice cracked. That's because he cares. Sophie leaned closer. And do you? Or have you already replaced me in your heart with him? Ryan's eyes widened. Don't twist this. The tension snapped when the phone rang. Sophie picked it up before Ryan could. Her voice turned honey-sweet. Oh, hi, Mrs. Turner. Yes, I'll let Ryan know he's late with those files. Poor thing's been distracted. You know how men are. She hung up slowly, savoring the effect. Ryan's face went pale. You talked to my boss? He shrugged. Just helping. If he sees you're unreliable, maybe he'll realize how much you need me. I slammed my hand on the table. That's not help, that's sabotage. Sophie tilted her head. Funny, I call it love. Ryan's voice broke. Why are you doing this? Her tone softened, dripping false innocence. Because I refuse to lose you. Not to your mother. Not to Adam. Not even to yourself. He shook his head. You already lost me the moment you tried to break me. Her mask cracked. Then I'll drag you down with me. Later that evening, Adam knocked on the door. He stepped inside cautiously, sensing the storm. Ryan, he said, the office is buzzing. Sophie's been talking. She told people you've been unstable, distracted. Some are questioning if you're fit to lead projects. Ryan staggered back. She's poisoning my career. Sophie, who had lingered nearby, smiled sweetly. I only told the truth. Adam's eyes narrowed. Truth? Or the version that keeps him under your thumb? Her voice turned sharp. Don't interfere, Adam. You're nothing here. Just a man too lonely to mind his own business. Adam stepped forward. I interfere because I see a friend being destroyed. Ryan whispered, broken. She's ruining everything. I faced Sophie directly. Why? What satisfaction do you get from crushing him? She met my gaze with icy calm. Because control is love. Without me he's nothing. And deep down he knows it. Ryan snapped. That's a lie. His voice was louder than I'd ever heard. His fists trembled at his sides. I'm not nothing. I was someone before you. I can be someone after you. Sophie froze, her face hardening. You'll regret that, she hissed. The following days were chaos. Rumors spread at Ryan's job. Sophie whispered poison wherever she could. Adam defended him, but Sophie's claws had sunk deep. One night, Ryan collapsed at the table, head in his hands. I can't keep fighting her in the world. I'm so tired. I rubbed his back. Then let me fight with you. Let Adam fight too. You're not alone. He whispered, what if I lose everything? I held his hand tightly. Then we'll build again. But this time without chains. The confrontation came sooner than expected. Sophie stormed into the living room with papers in her hand. Enough of this charade. If you want freedom, Ryan, then here, sign these divorce papers. But know this, if you leave me, I'll destroy you. Your reputation, your friends, your future. I'll make sure no one trusts you again. Ryan's hands shook as he took the papers. His eyes darted between us. She'll do it. She'll ruin me. I whispered, or you take the risk and finally live. Adam added firmly, you'll never rebuild while she holds the pieces. Sophie sneered. Listen to them, Ryan. The widow and the office boy. They want you weak so they can feel strong. Ryan's voice trembled. No, Sophie. They want me free. You want me caged. Her eyes burned. So you choose them over me? He steadied himself, standing taller than I'd seen in years. I choose myself. And I choose peace. Her hand slapped across his face, sharp and sudden. The sound echoed. Ryan didn't flinch. He just stared at her with sorrow. This is who you are. Sophie's chest heaved. You'll regret this day, Ryan. I'll make sure of it. She dropped the papers onto the floor, her heels clicking as she stormed out. Silence swallowed the room. Ryan touched his cheek, red from the slap, and whispered, "It's over." Adam crouched beside him. "No. It's beginning." I took his other hand. "Sophie's illusions are shattered. Now we see her for who she truly is." Ryan's voice cracked, full of fear and relief. "But can I survive what comes next?" I squeezed his hand. "You can. Because you won't face it alone." For the first time in years, Ryan's tears didn't feel like weakness. They felt like release. The war wasn't over, but Sophie's mask had broken. And so had the chains around my son's heart. I thought Sophie's threats ended the night she slapped Ryan and stormed out, but I was wrong. Her silence was only a storm gathering strength. The breaking point came at a family gathering meant to celebrate Ryan's promotion. Only by then, whispers had already reached every corner of his workplace, and every relative eager for scandal. At the dinner table, the air felt heavy. Laughter came too quick, too forced. I leaned toward Ryan. "You don't have to be here." He forced a smile. "If I run, she wins." Adam, seated nearby, murmured, "Then we stay close. Don't let her corner you." The room quieted when Sophie entered. She wore a gleaming white dress, her makeup flawless, her smile sharp as a blade. "Darling," she cooed, sliding beside Ryan as if nothing had broken. "You didn't think I'd miss this, did you?" Ryan stiffened. "Why are you here?" She touched his arm. "To support my husband, of course. Or should I call you my ex-husband-to-be?" Gasps rippled across the table. Uncle James whispered, "Divorce? What's she talking about?" Ryan swallowed hard. "Sophie, don't do this here." "Oh, but why not?" she purred, standing tall. "Everyone should know the truth. Ryan abandoned his loving wife after I sacrificed everything for him. And do you know why?" Her eyes found me. "Because she poisoned him. His precious mother couldn't stand sharing him. And Adam, well, Adam filled the void a little too eagerly, didn't he?" Murmurs erupted. I felt my face burn. Adam's voice cut through. "That's enough." Sophie laughed lightly. "Oh, it's never enough with you, is it? Always defending them. Tell me, Adam, are you here as his friend or something more?" Ryan slammed his hand on the table. "Stop twisting everything." But Sophie wasn't done. She pulled papers from her purse and held them high. "Here's proof." Ryan signed nothing. "He can't let me go no matter what he says. He's still mine. And if he tries to leave, I'll drag him through court until there's nothing left of him." The room buzzed with shock. Aunt Clara whispered, "Is this true, Ryan?" Ryan's voice cracked. "No, I didn't sign because she threatened me. She said she'd destroy me." Sophie smirked. "Oh, poor boy. Always the victim. Tell them, Ryan, who's been keeping your secrets at work? Who's been covering for your mistakes? Without me, you'd be unemployed." Gasps turned into judgmental stares. Ryan's hands shook. "That's not true. I've worked hard for everything." She leaned in, voice venomous. "Then explain why your boss called me instead of you when projects slipped? Why he trusted me to manage what you couldn't." Ryan froze, his mouth opening and closing with no words. Sophie smiled triumphantly. "See? He can't deny it." I stood. "Enough, Sophie. This isn't love. This is cruelty." She tilted her head. "And what would you know of love, Mother? Your husband left you, didn't he? Maybe abandonment runs in the family." The words sliced me open, but I refused to fall. "He left, yes. But I survived. And Ryan will too. Without you." Her laugh rang cold. "Survive? He's crumbling before your eyes. Look at him, pathetic, weak, broken." Adam stepped in front of Ryan. "He's not broken. He's rebuilding. You're just afraid of losing your grip." Sophie's mask slipped, rage flashing. "You think you can save him? You're nothing but a shadow at his side. He'll never choose you over me." Ryan's voice rose, hoarse but firm. "I already have." Silence fell. Everyone turned to him. His chest heaved as he stood. I choose myself. I choose peace. I'm done letting you control me. Sophie's face twisted. Lies. You can't live without me. You'll come crawling back. He shook his head. No. I'd rather lose everything than lose myself again. She lunged, grabbing the papers, ripping them in half. Then you'll regret this, she screamed. I'll ruin your reputation, your career, your name. I'll tell everyone you're unstable, dangerous. No one will trust you again. Adam caught her wrist. You've said enough. Sophie's chest rose and fell with fury. You can't silence me. Ryan met her gaze steadily. No. But I can stop listening. The confrontation ended with Sophie storming out, her heels echoing like war drums. But the damage lingered. Relatives whispered, some avoiding our eyes, others shaking their heads. Uncle James muttered, messy business. Hard to know who's telling the truth. Aunt Clara sighed, poor boy, but maybe she's right. Maybe he can't cope. Ryan slumped in his chair, his face pale. They all think I'm weak. I placed my hand on his. Let them. Strength isn't in their approval. It's in your choice. Adam added, firm and steady, and you chose freedom. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen. Later that night at home, Ryan broke down. I can't go back to work. Not after what she said. What if everyone believes her? I knelt beside him. Then prove her wrong. Show them with actions, not words. His eyes filled with tears. What if I fail? Adam placed a hand on his shoulder. Then you fail forward. You learn. You rise again. But you'll never rise with her chains around you. Ryan whispered, I'm scared. I hugged him tightly. So am I. But we'll face it together. Days passed. Sophie spread her poison at his workplace, calling colleagues, twisting stories. Whispers followed Ryan wherever he went. One afternoon he returned home pale. They reassigned my project. They don't trust me anymore. I steadied him. Then we fight harder. We show them who you really are. But inside, fear gnawed at me. Sophie wasn't finished. She would strike again. That evening Adam came over, voice urgent. She's planning something bigger. I overheard one of her calls. She's arranging to meet with your boss directly. She's going to paint you as unstable, unfit to lead. Ryan's hands trembled. If she convinces him, I'm done. I gripped his shoulders. Then we confront her before she does more damage. Not in whispers, not in shadows, face to face where the truth can't hide. Ryan stared at me, torn between terror and resolve. Finally he nodded. Then we end this. No more running. As the night deepened, I felt the weight of what was coming. Sophie's power lay in shadows, in whispers, in manipulation. But if Ryan stood tall in the open, maybe, just maybe, her illusions would finally collapse. And for the first time in years, I saw a flicker of steel in my son's eyes. The storm wasn't over. It was only beginning. The house was quiet again, not with grief this time, but with something gentler. I stood in the garden, dirt under my nails, sun warming my face. For years I had let flowers wither while I held Ryan's broken pieces together. Now I planted new life, not for him but for me. Ryan's voice drifted from the porch. You're really doing this, huh? Mom with a shovel. I smiled faintly. Stranger things have happened. He came closer, hesitant. I like it. You look lighter. I wiped sweat from my brow. Maybe I am. For the first time in years I feel like myself again. We sat on the steps together. Silence lingered, not uncomfortable, just fragile. Finally Ryan spoke. I owe you an apology. I glanced at him. For which part? There's a list. He winced. All of it. For letting her treat you like that. For standing by when you deserved better. For being too blind to see it. I leaned back, watching a sparrow hop across the yard. Words are easy, Ryan. Change takes time. He nodded. Then I'll take the time. I don't expect forgiveness overnight. I want you to know I see you now. Not just as my mother, but as someone who gave up everything for me. My chest tightened, but I stayed steady. I didn't give up everything. I still have me. And I plan on keeping her this time. Inside, the kettle whistled. I poured us tea, savoring the simple ritual. Ryan cupped his mug. Do you ever wonder where she is now? I shook my head. No. Sophie belongs to the past. He fed on attention. Without it, she'll wither. His jaw clenched. I wasted so much on her. Then stop wasting more by thinking of her, I said gently. She doesn't deserve even your regrets. He sighed. You're stronger than me. I met his eyes. I wasn't. Not always. But strength grows when you stop waiting for someone else to save you. Later I sat before the mirror. The same mirror that once reflected shame and weakness. My hair was streaked with gray, my face lined with years of worry, but my eyes, they were clear. Ryan leaned in the doorway. What do you see? I smiled at my reflection. A woman who finally knows herself. He hesitated. And me? What do you see when you look at me? I turned to him. A man learning how to be whole. It's a start. He swallowed hard, emotion flickering in his gaze. Thank you, for not giving up on me. I reached out, touching his hand. Don't thank me. Just prove me right. Days passed with quiet rhythm. I read books I once abandoned, losing myself in stories instead of sorrows. I laughed with Adam when he visited, the sound unfamiliar but welcome. I found comfort in small things. Fresh bread, blooming roses, evenings spent on the porch listening to the world instead of fearing it. Ryan joined sometimes, careful, almost reverent. One evening he said softly, "It feels different now. Peaceful." It does, I agreed. Because we chose peace. Not drama. Not lies. He looked at me with something close to awe. You really are different, Mom. I'm not different, I corrected gently. I'm finally myself. The whispers that once haunted us faded. Relatives stopped asking, stopped judging. Sophie's name slipped from their tongues like ash carried by the wind. Forgotten. Irrelevant. Ryan noticed too. It's like she never existed. I sipped my tea. That's what happens to shadows when the light returns. On a quiet morning I walked the garden path, touching petals, breathing deeply. For the first time the weight on my chest was gone. Ryan called from the porch. You look happy. I am, I said simply. He smiled. Then maybe I can be too. I walked back, meeting his eyes. You will. Just give yourself the same patience you're giving me. That night, alone in my room, I faced the mirror again. No whispers of humiliation, no echoes of laughter. Just me. And for the first time I didn't see weakness. I saw strength. I whispered to my reflection, steady and certain, I am enough. The chandeliers glittered above me, casting the same golden light I remembered from Ryan's wedding. My chest tightened for a moment, but instead of fear I felt calm resolve. I had returned to the very hall where I had once fallen, not as a victim but as a woman reborn. Adam appeared at my side. You sure about this? Yes, I said firmly. If I can't walk through this door, I'll always be chained to that memory. We stepped inside. Laughter swirled, music played, and faces turned toward me. I braced myself for the old smirks, the cruel chuckles. But instead, nods, smiles, hushed greetings. Respect. A woman near the buffet whispered to her friend, That's her. She carried herself through it all. Another man added, She's stronger than anyone here. I caught their words, not with pain but with quiet pride. Ryan approached, nervous. Mom, I didn't know you'd actually come. Why wouldn't I? I asked lightly. It's family. Besides, I refuse to let one bad night claim this hall forever. He glanced around. They all remember, you know. Good, I said, sipping water. Let them. But they'll remember it differently now. We sat at a table near the stage. A cousin leaned over. You look radiant tonight. I smiled. It's amazing what freedom does for the skin. The table chuckled. Ryan shook his head. You're sharper than ever. Not sharper, I corrected. Clearer. As the speeches began, my mind drifted, not to the fall itself but to the laughter that followed. I remembered the sting, the shame, the tears I had swallowed. And then I remembered the mirror. The garden. The rediscovery of myself. Sophie had thought she'd stolen my dignity. She hadn't realized she'd handed me the one thing she could never take back. My strength. Ryan whispered, Mom, what are you thinking? I leaned closer. That she thought she pulled out a chair from under me. But all she really did was give me a throne. His eyes widened. A throne. Yes. He thought she was breaking me. Instead she freed me. He swallowed. I don't deserve you. You don't need to deserve me, I said softly. You just need to learn from me. After dinner an aunt approached. I never told you how sorry I was that night. I should have defended you. I touched her hand gently. You don't need to apologize. That night revealed everyone's character, including mine. I'm not angry anymore. Her eyes watered. You inspire me. Then take that inspiration and do better when life tests you, I replied. Later, Adam teased, you've turned into quite the queen. I laughed. Not a queen. Just a woman who finally knows her worth. Same thing, he said with a grin. The music shifted, couples dancing under the lights. Ryan extended a hand to me. Hey, I raised an eyebrow. You dance. He smiled nervously. Think of it as redemption in motion. I let him lead me onto the floor. His steps were clumsy, but his sincerity was steady. Around us, guests watched, not mockingly this time, but with genuine warmth. See, Ryan said, a little breathless. Different night. Different story. Exactly, I murmured. The past doesn't own me anymore. When the evening ended, I lingered by the same spot where the chair once clattered and the hall once erupted in laughter. I placed my hand on the back of a chair, steady this time. Adam joined me. Full circle. More than that, I whispered. That night was my breaking point, but it was also my rebirth. As we prepared to leave, Ryan hugged me tightly. Thank you for coming. You've shown me what real courage looks like. I kissed his cheek. Courage isn't about never falling, Ryan. It's about standing up when the whole world wants you to stay down. Back in my room, I looked in the mirror one last time. The reflection no longer haunted me. It glowed with quiet power. I whispered, steady and sure, betrayal may break us, but sometimes it also frees us. And in that truth I found my throne.